We are live. It is Thursday, August 28th, and you are watching the Convergence Report with Mike Thomas right here at the downtown Windsor Business Accelerator, live streamed by Knoxstrom Digital Media on XE's TV. So again, thank you for tuning in. This is the best live internet programming in Windsor, Essex, and I thank you for tuning in. And also, I tell everybody the same thing. Yeah, we're live. Watch us live. We really do appreciate it. But if you were too busy, you missed it, and the internet was down when you're first watching it, it will be replayed on YouTube. So, and also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Knoxstrom 1. Please take a look at that and then subscribe. And we are up there. We're getting up there to around, I'm going to say again, probably pretty close to or around about 30,000 total viewers. We're very significant for the Convergence Report with Mike Thomas, Betting to Go with Betty Goodell. Beyond incredible with Shay Rochelle and Ashley Nicole. And, of course, we still have Jock Talk with Brett Hedges, and we will have him back in a little bit after a little time off. But, yes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And, again, we want you to like us on Facebook. Do check it out on Facebook. That's where the post is. Initially goes up, so you can watch it, like, say, the live stream side of it. You can watch the live stream right now. If you kind of go pop over to Knoxstrom Digital Media, like us on Facebook, like Mike Thomas, brackets and Convergence Report on Facebook, and that's where you're going to get all your best information as far as what we share going forward for Knoxstrom Digital Media and XE's TV. And of course, the bottom line to my show, as far as how I try to watch everything, kind of keep an eye on everything, is Facebook Karma, Facebook Thought Police. I saw that, and if you post it, I saw it. If you post it, sometimes I use it. Whether or not it be Twitter, whether or not it be Facebook or any other social medias, I definitely try to pull out the best of the best and incorporate it in the show and use the internet. And that is really, truly the most immediate ways that you're going to find you're going to get the news message out nowadays. So I try to grab it, keep it current, and this is what I try to do. Might be a little bit different today because of the fact that I'm going to kind of take a look again at it's been, I think it's been a little bit more than a month. We kind of got caught up doing some good shows, some good interviews with some of the Express basketball team, the guys from Blue, St. Clair College. So we were doing some good interviews, but here I'm just going to kind of do a recap again as the election it's going to go real fast. October 27th is coming, and we're trying to get people all drummed up and ready for this election. And we're going to take a look at that like right now. We'll take a look at it right now. And I'm going to call it, and some people, I've also used this theme, it's called This Week of Who's In and Who's Out. And with about, I think it's September, I think there's only a couple weeks left, and it's kind of getting into what they call that lame duck committee or lame duck council, where they're really going to have to sit on it till after the election. And what you've been finding out, what you've been seeing in the Windsor Star, what you've been seeing on CTV and CBC are really your local news flavors, is the fact that there seems to be a lot of crazy things happening, and what they call it, the Eddie legacies have really been hammered through. He's trying to get as much done as possible. I don't know really how all that. I think the lame duck should be a couple months earlier, as it looks like they're kind of spending quite a bit. All of a sudden, all this magical election political money comes out of nowhere to start doing everything. One report is that they're going to be deficient on all these other things once a new council gets in, and at the same time they said, oh no, we got this money, we need to spend this, we need to do this, we need to do that. And of course the pool was one of the big ones, the ones that's going to be added on to the Windsor Family Credit Union Center. And again, they call it one of the biggest Eddie Francis legacy decisions that's going to happen going forward. And I kind of wait, as I always kind of reference to I don't call him the former mayor, to be the former mayor, okay, or WFCU later Eddie, as that's where he's going to go to. And he just seems to go round and round with these connections as far as with the Windsor Family Credit Union. And I'm wondering whether or not that new pool is going to be called the Eddie Francis pool. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happened with that one, as far as he's making sure everybody knows it's his legacy, and he needs to have that. We have to do it for FINA, and he's pounding it through with about 2 weeks left to go. And the councils are, they're trying to make good decisions, and everything is political. And if you say no, you vote against it, he makes sure he lets everybody know who voted against it, and that seems to be pretty crazy with a couple weeks left to go, and everybody kind of wondering what's going to happen to the next council and how much more money he's going to spend, or if he's going to continue to be, I guess he's practicing to be the delegation now, not the mayor, so he kind of jumps from one seat, jumps in the other seat back and forth. So how much more times he's going to keep on doing that when he is no longer the mayor of Windsor. But anyways, this week, Susan, who was out looking at the council, it kind of all finally looks like it came together as far as who's not running. And it looks like, of course, still Alan Halberstadt is not running. And we also have Ron Jones not running. And we also have Fluvio Valentinas. He's not running. They're kind of all taking on, I think some are saying, talking about retirement, being more with family. I think Fluvio is looking at doing something different. I don't know if it was a school board trustee was taking a different direction. And it's kind of shaken out now that everybody else is kind of doing what they're supposed to do. And, of course, I call him WFCU later Eddie. But, he's got the big axe as he is retiring supposedly from politics and moving on. And that has finally, and I wanted to kind of do the shift. I'll do the shift up here. The shift was supposed to be, okay, that Drew Dilkins is going to be sitting in that chair. I should have done the Photoshop and put his face in there. And Drew Dilkins has now declared that he's going to run for mayor. I thought it was kind of strange when he did it and how he did it. He kind of filed his papers very, very late on a Friday. They kind of got something in the news on Saturday, and he said, I really didn't want to make my big announcement until after, I think it was a long weekend, the civic holiday or something. And I looked at that, and I think that's a question you need to ask somebody. If you really want to be the mayor of Windsor, I keep talking about the dream job. If you want to be the mayor of Windsor, then really, why was it so secretive? Why didn't you just announce and kind of blast it up and do it at 9 o'clock Friday morning and let everybody buzz about it all weekend long? And he seemed to want to keep it quiet. So I don't know. That's a question that only as he's out there campaigning, you need to ask Drew Dilkins going forward. And as far as we'll take a look at, I'm just looking at council now, then I'm going to look at the candidates in a minute. We're looking at council right now. So Dilkins technically is not running. So he's an X and he's an X. And then now, but you're looking at the remaining councilors that are going forward. You obviously, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but Sleeman is still running. Hillary Payne's still running. Joanne Geniak finally put her name forward. Eric Kuzmerchuk, he's like he comes on our home base here down to downtown Windsor Business Accelerator. So he's declared and put his name going forward. And of course, Al Magnia, another one, has put his name going forward. So you're looking that you really have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 incumbents running and shooting hopefully to get in there. And then you got Dilkins hoping to be mayor. So I guess we're going to kind of wait and see what happens, how that all begins. It's not done yet. They still have a certain time, and I think it's in September 1st. Not sure. You'll have to take a look at that. September 1st, where there's an actual deadline to be able to run. Maybe it's September 10th. I'll take a look at that. I'll get back to you on that one. But that deadline's coming where nobody can submit, and you have to make your mind up whether you're running for this one or running for that one. And you can see some people have been jumping in, jumping out. But now the process has begun, and 2 weeks. Again, 2 weeks, I think, 2 weeks till we get to that lame duck, and hopefully all the money won't be spent before the new council even takes office after the election. This week, who's in, who's out? I'm just going to tell you. Bottom line is and we're talking about there's 8 people now running for mayor, which I guess we got Toronto beat at the end of the day, but they running for mayor. The ones that come out right off the bat was Ernie the Bacon Man, Timothy Dugdale. Robin Easterbrook, he came in. I didn't get to talk about him a lot. But the chairman of the Heritage Committee. He's got some business background, and then one of the first things that were kind of thrown at him was whether or not the Weisers building from Hiram Walker should be torn down. And then he looked like he wasn't going to compromise, and then he did compromise. And of course, I just keep saying the same thing at the end. No decision. You got a committee in place, and all of a sudden Eddie Francis pops up and says, "I can fix it." Just making sure everybody knows that he's still around, and the best decision is always an Eddie decision. So like that kind of, I think they're still working out. He found a tenant for it or something, and it's just amazing that all this time, when it comes to crunch time, when it comes to election time, to make sure Drew Dilkins is going to look good on the other side of it, and make sure that Mr. Easterbrook doesn't, that Eddie jumps in and kind of squishes him. And one of the new ones that came out right around that time, last time I did my report, was Larry Horowitz from the Downtown Business Improvement Association. So he has come forward. He got significant press when he put his name forward, had a pretty big press conference. And if you do some research and history on him, he has some significant ideas. He's, again, more from the core, more from the downtown. But of course, the downtown is a big part of Windsor. And for some of the disappointments that the Downtown Windsor Business Improvement Association has been experiencing recently, whether or not almost not having Balloonapalooza, They're kind of fighting over a little bit where the Santa Claus parade goes, and some of the other the monetary issues they face with less monies coming in from the casino as being part of the Downtown Windsor Business Association or Improvement Association. So he's the one that he's got, I think, the most press. He's been out there with the most ideas as far as deciding to run for mayor and putting his name forward, running for mayor. Henry Lau also just recently did it. And again, some of the research I should have done a bit better. Mike Tessier, he's also new. Ray Poisson, I guess a couple guys Ray Poisson, and I think it was Timothy Dugdale. They're going to make their last-minute decision of whether or not they're going to pull out. And of course, but you definitely have the 8 candidates, and really searching hard at everybody kind of being pushed to become mayor. Teresa Perusa has said no, definitely not. She does not want to be mayor. She's not running. She's going to wait her time and bide her time. She's got a nice little job with Chrysler's as far as waiting for the 5 years for the next election to run. I'm assuming it's going to be Liberal Windsor West again. Ken Lawenza, I'm going to say Ken Lawenza Sr. Ken Lawenza, former president of the CAW/Unifor, national president, has not declared. I guess he's still kind of waiting. I think he's kind of, really kind of writhing or wrestling with the final decision of what he wants to do. So he has not come forward yet, and maybe he will, maybe he won't. I guess we're going to have to wait right to the very, very last deadline there. And of course, there's still the rumors out there that former Mayor John Milson he's getting ready to make his announcement again. There's some ones that are looking at what maybe the betterment of Windsor is and trying to make sure that the best candidate is there going forward. And I think some of those people that are trying to decide whether to run or not are really looking at the slate of candidates and trying to decide whether or not there is a winner, a true winner, okay, in that group of people running for mayor. And so I guess we're just going to have to be patient. We got some time, so we're going to wait and see. So there are 6 candidates. As I go forward with here, and I finally did the quick math as we're trying to break records between who's running for council and who's running for the school board trustees for Windsor. We're now up to 57. We're up to 57 running for council and for mayor. And I was going to call it the Heinz 57, but we no longer have a Heinz here in Leamington or in Windsor, Essex County. So that's kind of difficult. But there is 57 people running, so I guess we'll take a look at what's going to happen with that. There are 6 now running for Ward 1. And 6, that was Drew Dilkin's ward, so he's moved on. And kind of the cute little thing, I'm going to call it cute, I guess, maybe that's not an improper word, was that out of the blue, just before Dilkins decides to run for mayor, Eddie Francis' brother, Fred Francis, runs. So he's one of the newer candidates that's there. Daniel Abelser, he's still running. New is Gerbax Bular, and I was just kind of taking a quick little look here. Ryan Mancini, he's looking. He's making prudent decisions. They're saying basically he's got some business background. He's only been back to Windsor. He was on the West Coast for a little bit, then back to Windsor. So he is a younger fellow trying to make a difference, I guess. And Ward 1, we're also looking at Denise Ganam. She is the owner of GCI Strategy Committee, so she's decided to run. So her name, I've heard her name around before. So you definitely have some newer, you got some new, or maybe I'm going to say credible, not that they're all credible, but very good selection of candidates running for Ward 1. So I think it's going to be a difficult decision in regards to who's going to take over for Drew Dilkins one way or another, as we're going to kind of wait and see what happens with that one. As far as Ward 2 goes, it's now up to 4. John Elliott was the first one in. John Elliott ran last time and ran a close race, but lost to Ron Jones. Frank Favett, he is new. He is a school board trustee that has now decided to run for Ward 2. So he is new. He's come out of the blocks with, like I say, I'm going to say automotive background or works at Chrysler's. James Jing, he joined the race. That's another one there. He is the owner of Jimmy G's Bar and Grill on Wyandotte Avenue. And again, he is a West End businessman. And if you're from the West End and you're kind of looking at that ward, you say, I want to make a difference. There are some people running to say they want to make a difference. And of course, I have Joan Marivnak. Okay, and I kind of grabbed everything off her website, and that's what I'm kind of trying to make sure that I understand what everybody's running for. 30 years in this community, University of Windsor, 15 years at GM, Director of Human Resources, Windsor Police Services, 7 years at Hotel New Grace Hospital, Director of Medical Administration. So there's no doubt that she has a business background, if that's what you're looking for, a business background, or people that have been active in the community like John Elliott and Frank Favit, or James Jing, again, a candidate that is saying that I'm a local businessman and I'm here to make a difference in Ward 2. So as we continue on, we have 4. And getting back to this, these are some basic numbers anyways, but you still have Gabe Maggio, and he's got quite a few signs out there. He come out right off the bat, and this is why I kind of look at it sometimes. And this is my fault. I'm going to say my fault with some of the candidates' fault with the system. Why were people waiting so long to decide? Some people come right at the blocks and say, I want to run, I want to be part of it. And even some of the incumbents didn't get their names out there and trying to make their decisions or get their houses in order or whatever, or maybe deciding what they want to do. But we have people that really they came out came out early. Got some of them coming out a little bit late. Caroline Postma, she is new, so she's not really new. She was initially elected in 2003. They set around with the Francis regime, we'll call it that. And then in 2010, she decided to take a break, decided not to run, but kind of looking at the clients themselves have basically said that she wants to get back in the game. So she has decided to run after sitting for one term. And Claude Reno, he's also new. And Alex Shalal actually dropped out of this particular race for Ward 3. So you gained 2 new ones from their 2 original. Reno Borderland still in there. So those were Reno, Borderland, and Gabe Maggio were out of the blocks fairly quickly, and Posma and Reno. And again, that's where I think you're looking at caucusing. I think you're looking at people saying, you need to run. We need experience. You had experience. Get back on. Or are we just going in a brand new direction here? And people are saying that they want a council that's different than the one that they had before. So as we kind of go through this, Ward 4, we're up to 7 now. Remy Bobo, she come out the blocks fairly quick. Brian Caza stayed in. Adriano Ciatoli, he decided he's another businessman. He decided that he wants to get into the race, so he has kind of moved on. Victoria Cross, a lawyer, an activist in the city, and she was kind of had the inkling, and she decided to put her name forward. Josh Hayden, a local business promoter, or a comedy promoter, a local businessman, he kind of joined in. Chris Holt is still there, and Howard Weeks decided to get active, and I think he does talk a little bit about the fact that he was active when his father was active. That was Bert Weeks, and whether or not that he's always had it kind of inside him waiting to come out. I guess we'll kind of wait and see. But you're now up to 7 in that particular group. And again, you got to look at the hard questions of what the changes that can be made. And I did see, just for example, like they had the CN, and looking at there's no incumbent here, was the fact that I think that was Halberstadt's, I think, was the fact that even Remy Bobo did get out there, and she was on the news because they had the high grasses around the CN tracks, and you can't have that kind of scenario nowadays. And it's not a city type of issue; it was a neighborhood type of issue. And then she complained, and she got the ball rolling, and they come to cut the weeds down. And so you got somebody doing that. So being active and trying to make changes. So again, kind of look at that. Ask the candidates. You need to not take this as a lame duck council going forward. We need to get more politically active and effect change and ask questions and say that's why I elected you and picked you, because I think you're the best option of everybody running. And for Ward 5, we have Randy Diestelman, Sam Drakish, he is also new. A couple new guys here. John Middleton without the black. Ed Sleeman, I call him new. Even though he's the incumbent, he kind of waited. He waited a while before he put his name up there. I don't understand that. If you're already on council, why were you waiting for the last month type of thing to get your name up there? And Joey Wright still out there. They all have. If you really take a hard look at it, a lot of them have websites. I'm going to give it to you at the end of where you can find the information. If you want to just do basic research like I was doing, most have websites. Some have Facebook pages. Some, we can email them directly. If you just want to ask them questions, and I tell people, make it legitimate, make it fair, give them an opportunity to answer. But there's social media has brought a whole different way to address your candidates, and you can say, I've been living here for so long, and I keep seeing this. Okay, what are you going to do about it? What is council going to do about it? What do you think? What do you think? Who's the best mayor is going to do something about this? Because if you kind of look around, and I keep being told the exact same thing, and it's just a rant for a second, just a quick little rant for a second, and the rant truly being that how wonderful shape that Windsor's supposed to be in. Drive around and look at it. Drive around and see how many empty buildings, how many empty strip malls, okay, how many empty places of business, and tell me again, okay, of what was being done, okay, and to get past through that recession, depression, or economic downturn, or whatever it is, okay, and where we're at today, and who's best suited to make a difference, okay, in the city of Windsor and get our employment levels back down to normal rates. I guess corn to tasseling did get it down to 8.5%, but we'll see if that bounces back up in September. And Ward 6. Ward 6? Oh, only 3. What are we going to do? There's only 3 here? Okay. Joanne Geniak, I call her new. Yeah, she's new because, again, it's one of those incumbents that decided, I'll just wait till the last minute. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll wait to, I guess I think some of them wait to see what Drew was going to do. Okay, Jason Dupe, who ran for the Liberal Party in a recent provincial election. Okay, so he's also, but he put his name up pretty quick. And John Holmes, again, he was one of the earliest candidates. So you have 3 candidates there that are running for Ward 6. And Ward 7. And again, I have to pick on myself a little bit. Maybe he just was trying to make sure that he was making the proper decision going forward. But Eric Kuzmerchuk, he had finally put his name forward or filed his documents. Jeffrey Costas, he's still running. Angelo Marignani, he's new. He's also put his name forward. He's been unsuccessful. He didn't win the by-election, but he's there running again as a local business person. And I guess he just also decided he wants to make a difference or continue to try to get his opportunity to make a difference. But it makes it difficult when an incumbent is there, and I haven't heard anything negative about Eric Kuzmerchuk. He's working hard out there, and hopefully, I guess it's got to come out in his campaign. Daniel Spiel, another local business contractor, I believe, and he, again, he's not new. He's been out there for a bit. So there's 4 candidates for Ward 7. And then this one here, sometimes you don't even know. Holy cow, there's only 2. What's going on? There's only 2. Only 2 to choose from? Stephan Bowden actually stepped away. Heather Burton has put her name forward, and so she's running up against Bill Mara. And Bill Mara has been, since he ran for mayor and he got back on council, he's been pretty strong. Pretty active in the community. He definitely votes the way he wants to vote, and he definitely gets beat up by Eddie Francis if he does not vote Eddie's way. So that's definitely, we'll see what kind of happens with that one, just a kind of a head-to-head thing, or whether or not another person kind of puts their name forward. And Ward 9, we are now up to 5. Okay, Hillary Payne. Okay, and he got his name up pretty quick. Kieran McKenzie, he is new. With a little bit of NDP background, and he had a big press conference, and he's launched, and he says, I want to make a difference. And Jeanette Calandra still there. Socrates Sheenas, he is still running. Hank Van Aspert, again, some of these other ones, and I'll kind of show in a minute, but they all have websites. So Ward 9, the incumbent's Hillary Payne, and it looks like he's got a couple challengers there that are going to give him a run for his money, or I'm going to say run for council's money anyways. And this is the one. This is the one that everybody talks about. And we need one more. I guess I've written it. We need one more to make it 10 for 10. 10 for 10 for Ward 10. We only have 9 so far. Kind of newer coming into it. Paul Borelli. He's kind of taking a look at a local business person. Kind of retired. Did some different things. Wally Chafkak, he's been in there. Mohammed Chams is still running. Maria Fernandez, local lawyer. Matthew Isherwood, again, there's not really anybody truly new other than I think it's Morelli and Santino Peroni. Jim Morrison and Peroni are actually the ones that are the newest additions to be the ones. Cale McNeil, he's also running and trying to, what they're trying to do here is they're looking at that spot. And I just be really careful here. The incumbent is Al Magny, and he had all kinds of trouble on the onset of being elected. And I guess there was major, plans for him going forward, and he got a little too politician-y there with his credit cards and things and what you're allowed to do. And hope he believes he's corrected those things, but he has corrected it maybe in a way that 10 people decided to, or 8 other people decided to run against him for that particular ward. So I guess we're going to see whether or not the vote dilutes it. It's almost, they're kind of talking that same way with the Rob Ford, where they have way too many people running. It'll be diluted enough that the incumbent, which would be Ford, would end up winning. Okay, and do I suspect there is that potential here? The potential is that if Magnate still remains even a decent type of base from his past election, that the watering down of the votes with the rest could just allow him to kind of slide right up the middle. And again, let's hope that it's a hard campaign and get the issues out there. And again, may the best candidates win going forward. And that's what everybody's hoping for in this particular election. And we're going to take a little bit. We're going to keep an eye on it. Again, we're at Heinz 57 right now. I'll still say it's Heinz 57, and we're going to see whether or not there's going to be any more dropouts, or as you get a little bit closer, when you have that last little bit of date, and you change your mind, or you just look at the slate of candidates and say, I think I can do it. I think I can make a difference. I think I'm the best one for a particular ward, or even will that dark horse candidate come out for the mayor of Windsor? Okay, the dream job. We'll call it the dream job. It must be a dream job now because so many people want it. Okay, so we're kind of looking at that. So freeze this on your screen, whether it's live or whatever. But if you want to find out who's running, up-to-date information, it's right there in the citywindsor.ca, City Hall. There's a section there. You kind of got to do a couple clicks. You get the municipal election, and it's the whole running of pages, and that is all their information. Okay, so it's a very transparent world. In this new internet world that we deal with, very transparent. They have websites. They may just have an email. It might be something that only just have a telephone number, but all the information's there. So if you have questions, you want to contact them, you want to see what kind of difference they're going to make, just go to that website. It's all there for the asking, and sometimes it makes it a little bit easier for people. And again, keep it like I said, make good, legitimate questions. Make sure you're like I said, don't hide behind the send button. Make sure that you're giving them a fair chance with fair questions and fair answers before you make your decision at the end of the day. And that's what I'll go back. No, I'll go back to this one. So the other one I had was, let me see if I can get this thing out here. I did have it. Where did I do with it? Because there's a couple things that are kind of election related. It is, believe it or not, I can't even believe this myself. I can't believe myself that Labor Day, it's almost here. We had this crazy freaking summer that looked like we had summer, then we didn't have summer, and then in August there wasn't even 30-degree days, and we finally broke that at the very end. So who knows what's going forward. But anyways, it's Labor Day, and kids are going back to school, and I just find it totally amazing. But in saying that, the Windsor District Labor Council is trying to decide who they would support going forward for the election, and they have a simple website. September 12th, you have to answer the questions if you want the support of the Windsor District Labor Council, okay? And if 54 affiliated unions and 27,000 members in Windsor Essex, okay, very significant if you're looking at a voter base, because usually it's the activist people are the ones that go to the polls. So we'll see if anybody really, Council President Chris Taylor said looking for progressive candidates who will publicly stand up and say it has labor support, okay, and do what's good for Windsor. And what labor is, labor means jobs, okay? And we need to get unemployment levels down, and we have good quality, not precarious work, okay? That we need good quality, full-time jobs so that people can make a decent living and start becoming part of their community by purchasing houses and purchasing goods and be able to live decent lives and not have to pick between, like the commercial does, pick between the roof over your head or whether you want to eat. So again, the Windsor District Labor Council, check it out, okay? Search them on the internet, you can find them. So then I kind of flip it with that and say, okay, well, it's Labor Day then. This is what I'm with. Okay, if you're good now, Labor Day. I've been doing this for years. Okay, everybody keeps on saying, well, the unions go to Labor Day. No, it doesn't have to be the unions. Okay, the unions might set it up because maybe they're the ones that help out and buy the hot dogs. Okay, make sure that all the kids have something to eat and a lot of fun things to do that particular day. But this march is really about working people across the board, getting together. You know what? You can have your little group. You can walk with your friends. You can walk with the friends or people you know from the big plants that are still left in Windsor. Not that many left, tell you the truth. Okay, and show them that you support them as a whole. and it's definitely going to be Monday, September 1st. Oh, September 1st, as we said, and it's going to be, they call it marshalling, okay, it'll be marshalling right there on the corner of Turner Road and Tecumseh Road East. Okay, I got 2 minutes left, and basically it's 10 a.m. They do the walk up Walker Road to Foglar-Furlan, where they have all kinds of great things. Children's Village, Arts and Crafts, Bebo's always there helping out. The Mad Scientists, got some mini golf, some air bouncing, a Velcro wall. Please bring some canned foods and fresh produce, okay, or just drop that right off at the hall. They can put it right inside, okay. Chuck's Speed Shop is going to be, it's again the Windsor weekend. Free hot dog, pop water will be available. There'll be some speeches. Yeah, it's always got to be kind of a rah-rah at the end to get people kind of worked up. And I think it's a good time, because there's an election coming up. And let's see who's going to do the walk. Let's see who's going to walk shoulder to shoulder and in hands with all the people that participate as labor. And I really, really hope that we can see some candidates out there. And then, good chance to answer questions to the people that are there. Okay? So, getting cut, and it's the Convergence Report of Mike Thomas. Okay, Thursday, August 28th. We got to go, so I will see you next week.